had no hesitating. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains to how we can climb it. Feelings we're taking a moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains to how we can climb it. Feelings we're taking a moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up on me. Don't you give up now. Don't you give up on me. Don't you give up now. Don't you give up on me. Don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Good evening. It's Monday, June 13th. No, I'm sorry. It's June the 3rd, and I'm Chris Garguilo. I am an associate broker and a licensed referral specialist with Realty Connect, LLC, and this is my weekly podcast. And along with my podcast, I have my blog that you have at least 5 articles per week, and about 2 or 3 videos per week to keep you updated within the real estate industry. I did not do a podcast last weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. I was busy, and I'm sure you were busy too. The weather was pretty decent, somewhat. So I figured people were out barbecuing, going to the beaches, going to the pools. So I took that weekend off. Okay. So let me tell you how Realty Connect LLC. I basically do marketing for them and trying to find both people who want to purchase a house or I should say, because they might also have to sell a home and list a home. But it could be within the 50 states of the United States. And that's a good thing because a lot of times you have people moving from one state to another and they need someone to list their home and then an agent to help them purchase a home at their new location. And I could still give you advice. I could still give you consultation. I could give you whatever additional materials you may need. But I will not do the actual showing or listing of a property, okay? I will put you together with up to 3 top agents in that locale that you want to purchase. And they will send you out information. They will contact you either by phone call or text or email. And you make the decision who you feel will be the best match. All right. And there's no additional fee for the service. All right. My fee comes out of the closing. And there's If you're listing a house, it's not like you're listing now for 7% or 6.5%. It's still the same. I receive a referral fee, so there is no additional cost for the service. And I think it's pretty good because we're going through a lot of changes within the real estate industry and the way commissions are being made. And I think it's going to be more difficult finding an agent, especially when it comes to purchasing. Within the industry, we expect a lot of agents to be leaving because now the buyer's commission is not automatically there. All right, you may have to negotiate with your buyer to get paid. The whole NAR lawsuit was involving, what sellers were saying, why should I, the seller, pay for the buyer's representation? And this, in a way, it makes a lot of sense, okay? Because you're selling a $500,000 home. 6% of that would be $30,000. That's a lot of money. So you might say, well, $15,000 for the seller side who did all these things for me, which we'll be discussing today, but I got to give $15,000 to the buyer to pay for his or her agent. So it's going to be a change. And within social media, I see some agents saying, "Oh, it's not really different." It is going to be different because buyers were going to be saying, all right, you showed me a home, and now you want $15,000 to be split between you and your agency. So it's going to be different, and it's going to be a while before it's going to be worked out. But it's always helpful to have at least a listing agent because there's a lot involved with listing a home. The best way I think I could compare with using an agent as opposed not to use an agent. You could buy stocks on your own, right? You could put in orders in and it's purchased, or you could go to stock trader and ask him or her for their recommendations of what to buy. There are some stock brokers who are managers. So you give them $100,000 and they do what is best for you. And you don't even know what they might inform you what they want to buy, but they'll make all the suggestions. They'll just manage your money. So the same thing with listing and selling a house. You could do it on your own. You could purchase on your own. You could list on your own. But what you're paying for is that service. And today we're going to discuss about it on the listing side. But before I go on that, because I want you to really, truly understand how Realty Connect works. So I'm going to show you a little video.
Imagine hiring someone for a job without an interview. That's how most people pick a real estate agent. Unfortunately, most people don't find out what kind of agent they have until they're already in the middle of a transaction. But how do you find a great agent before making a move? Realty Connect is an invite-only network of the top 5% of all real estate agents in the country. Our free, easy-to-use online service helps you find the right agent for the job. Here's how it works. At Realty Connect, we analyze historical data from millions of real estate transactions and past client reviews to objectively determine which agents are good in a given area. Then we grade each agent on their skills, experience, reputation, knowledge, and communication. Extraordinary agents that score 95% or higher are invited into our network. This comprehensive vetting process allows us to recommend 3 top local agents that will be a good fit for a buyer or seller based on the client's unique needs and the skills and strengths of the agent. Just provide us with some basic information about you and your real estate goals. Once received, we'll match you with 3 top-rated agents that specialize in your market. Evaluate each agent and decide who you like best without any pressure or obligation. We make finding the perfect agent fast and easy, but the best part is our service is 100% free. That's right, none of our services will cost you a penny. We felt the best way to find a real estate professional, and it works by matching you with top-rated agents based on their skills and strengths. Our nationwide network allows us to serve every zip code in the U.S., so whether you're moving across the country or just moving across town, if you're buying or selling a home, let Realty Connect help you find an extraordinary agent today.
So I think that nicely explains how Realty Connect works. And again, with the changes within the real estate industry, I think this is a very worthwhile service. And plus, you always will deal with professionals, people who are truly dedicated real estate agents. Okay, that's enough with that. So let's bring it in. I believe her name is Jordan from Miami, and she's going to give us our topic question for today.
Hello, Mr. G. I would like to put my house on the market for sale. Should I use a real estate agent? Exactly what can they do for me that I cannot do for myself, or simply do not have the time? Any of your expertise advice will be appreciated. I watch your weekly video podcasts all the time with my husband and friends. They have given us very invaluable tips about the current real estate market. Keep it going strong.
Thank you, Jordan. That was very nice. And that's an excellent question. Do I need a real estate agent to market my home? And again, you are paying for a service when you use a real estate agent or a realtor. And I'll give another example to make it more understandable. A lot of people think, when you go to a restaurant, it's a product industry because you're buying products, right? You're buying an appetizer, if it's soup or salad, a main entry. So these are products, dessert. But it's not a product industry; it's a service industry, because you can cook these items yourself, or you could get the recipe. It may not come out as well as a chef doing it, but you could do this. So you're actually paying for a service. You're being paid to be served. And that's why you hire a real estate agent. You're paying for that service. There's some firms that'll say there's always some sort of, catchy phrase. And do you want to make money? Do you want to save money, or do you want to make money? And basically, if you have the know-it-all, or the know-how of how to put your house on the market and how to price it correctly, all right, and you're not paying a listing agent 3% of your sales, and you might pay 3% to a buyer's agent, but you're at least saving 3%, right? And in the case of $500,000 home, $15,000 is a lot of money. So if you have the knowledge on how to do it correctly by pricing it correctly, and if you have the time to do open houses, right? You have time to be home when people are going to see it, then that's fine. But if you don't, you're paying for that service, all right? And that's what's making your life easier. Now, when I've listed homes, there are people who really felt their homes were worth a lot more money. And just to get the listing, which I shouldn't have done, I listed at that price that they wanted, and they end up selling at the price that I thought it should be at. And sellers or homeowners will have a sentimental value to the house, and it's worth a lot more, but you have to look at the nuts and bolts of it. You have to be very subjective. Am I using the right one? No, I'm sorry. You got to be objective when you list a home. You have to take all those feelings and emotions put aside and looking at the data. But what makes it more difficult, you might use a 1 mile radius, and your house is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 baths, let's say 2,000 square feet, and you'll see other homes listed in that area. But then the next step, you really have to look at the photos, because a house that's renovated, completely newly renovated, and it's basically a turnkey situation. The new buyer just has to go in, turn the key, and move in. That house is worth more. All right? They don't have to do any repairs. They don't have to do any upgradings. Then that house is worth more, even though it might be the same square footage, the same amount of bedrooms, the same amount of baths, if it has a garage or not. It would be worth more if your house is not renovated, is not updated. Okay? So it's very important. It's tricky, and I'm being honest here. It's tricky pricing a house, because once it comes to the appraiser, the appraiser might have a different opinion. I'm from, if you notice my accent, from Brooklyn, New York, and I listed one house that was right across the street from a 7-Eleven that was open 24 hours. I thought that was a big plus. You could get coffee anytime, you get groceries. Back in Brooklyn, I was doing rentals, and there was one guy who I was going, he's leaving the apartment, and so I was showing it, and he never put the stove on. I said, well, why didn't you ever put the stove on? Because he didn't know if it worked well. I asked him if the stove worked well, and he said, I don't know. And I said, what do you mean you don't know? He goes, I never put the gas on. I said, you never made yourself a cup of coffee in the morning? He goes, no. Downstairs was a 24-hour, and we call them bodegas, little grocery store where the head craft, and he was able to get everything he wanted. He didn't have to put the stove on. He didn't cook. It was all takeout for him. And in that sense, it was a big plus. But this appraiser in Hampton, Virginia, did not see that as a big plus. He thought that, and this is his opinion, that having a 7-Eleven nearby could bring in people who are, people just hang out, maybe getting into trouble. And he didn't think it was a plus. I thought it was a plus. So it's very, very subjective, even though you have to be objective when you list your property, but you might have one appraiser, so that's worth, you wanted $250, that's worth $250, and then he might say, or she might say, well, it's really worth $230. So putting the price in the house, you really need an expert in that. Unless, you really feel that you're well educated, you understand the market. And the other thing, with another seller, he renovated his home, made it all upscale, all the high-end appliances and beautiful kitchens or whatever. And he wanted more money. I said, I put it, I believe, if I remember correctly, at $250. He wanted more. I said, but all the houses around it are, you can put a little bit more, but not like $50,000 more on it, And that house, to get the price that he wanted, needed to be in a different neighborhood. So some people go overboard and put on these wonderful upgrades, but they're not going to get the money in return based upon the current market value of homes within that 1 mile radius. It's tricky. I think that's the hardest part of real estate is listing a home. So let's look at our PDF file for today. And again, whatever PDF file that I choose, it's been on my blog that following week. I mean, now that I'm doing it on Mondays, it's on last week's blog. If I go back to Saturdays, it'll be that week's blog, but we have how an agent markets your house. So the National Association of Realtors says, or asked that very question, if I need an agent to sell a house, and found one of the top things they were looking for is help marketing their house to potential buyers. Maybe that's what you need the most help with too. So some people just think, oh, the agent is just taking pictures and they'll put on the multiple listing service. That's part of it. Okay. But there's a lot of competition out there. And here is a graph on saying percentage of respondents among sellers who use an agent and how their house was found. Of course, the biggest one is the multiple listing service. And that's because, or part of, many people use Zillow to look for homes. And the multiple listing service feeds into Zillow. So once it's on the multiple listing service, maybe it takes about a half hour to an hour, and it'll end up on Zillow. And people will buy your house. So it needs to be listed. And there's so many other websites that are connected to the multiple listing service. I don't know. I don't think Truly is around anymore. That was another one. And there's Realtor.com and there's Homes.com. But I'm going to say with pretty good assurance that 99.9% of the times, once it hits the multiple listing service, it'll hit these other secondary real estate sites. So they got a lot of people getting or purchasing a home through yard signs. And a lot of people, they'll do that. They'll pick a neighborhood they really like, and they'll keep on driving around to see what homes are on sale. So those yard sales signs are very important. Having open houses, which an agent should do, depending on how long the house is on the market, maybe 2 or 3 times, and doing the advertising for that as well. That's a lot involved with that. Here we have the Daily Press on the peninsula side of the water. On the other side, it's the Virginia Pilot, depending where you're located. You need to put an ad in the paper for that, and then put it on Zillow that you're having open house. And if you're using any other type of marketing websites to put on there that you're having open house. And then you get a lot of people just being nosy and saying, "Oh, is this house better than mine? I live next door." But anyway, it does work, because then they might be looking for a house for someone who's a friend of theirs or a relative of theirs, and they would like to move into the neighborhood, and they're just checking out the inventory of what's available there. So there's a real estate agent website, which is usually part 2. Like for instance, if you work for Keller Williams, you'll have your personal website, but then it will go also on the Keller Williams website. So here we have, again, it breaks it down. The listing on the MLS will give you the most visibility than other real estate agents and from other real estate agents and buyers. They'll see it. This could lead to more traffic, which could ultimately help you see an increase in offers and ultimately a better price. The yard sale, or the yard sign, that when people just walking around or driving by through a neighborhood that they like, they'll see the sign. they'll call their agent and say, hey, I would like to see this house. And then having an open house, when your agent advertises and hosts your open house, buyers see others are interested in your house too. This competition can lead to stronger offers. An open house is also easier for you since they only need to leave once for many buyers to visit. Plus, your agent may get useful feedback on what people like or don't like. It's also the feedback that's important, especially if your house is staying on the market for a while, which can help you make improvements to attract more buyers later if needed. And it could showcase on the agent's website. Having your house visible on your agent's website allows for a professional presentation of your property. Additionally, people visiting your agent's websites are more likely to be serious buyers who are ready to make a move. And then there's all the social media marketing, which is also very, very big. Putting on Facebook, putting on Instagram, putting on Pinterest. You could also do LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it might be seen then by other real estate agents who have clients who are interested in your type of home. And then providing virtual tours. Virtual tours are extremely convenient for buyers, especially those who are relocating from out of town. This method allows them to tour anytime, day or night. It shows your agent is using the latest technology to market your house. A good real estate agent will have a robust plan to promote your listing in an effort to find the right pool of buyers. And when they use all those items to do. So bottom line, when it comes to marketing your house, working with a local real estate agent has tons of benefits. And if you're ready to sell, let me know. But what they don't discuss here is actually all the paperwork that's involved. Not only the open houses and having sign-up sheets, is having the appraiser come when there is a purchase and meeting with the appraiser and allowing them to do the appraisal on the house that is listed. It's setting up the closing company. It's getting all the documents that you need. There's a lot involved. And the biggest thing, too, is like you don't always want to be there when people are viewing the home. I mean, in fact, even if you are home at that time, you should leave. So the potential buyer could really walk around and make comments to their buyer's agent. But let's say you're at work and the agent has a buyer now who needs to see the house. When you have that lockbox on the door, the buyer's agent could open it up and show that house anytime, which helps you get your house sold a lot quicker because it's more available to be shown. So it's a lot of pluses, and that's what you're paying for when you pay that listing fee. Whether you choose or not to pay the buyer's agent, now you can still do it, and we just have to see what happens. Sellers might say, well, I want this house to go quick. And I don't want to deal with a buyer who likes it, but they don't have the money to pay their buyer agent's fee. So I'll do it. So it's going to be a case-by-case scenario. But if it's a strong seller's market, which it's still a seller's market now, the seller might say, hey, there's plenty of buyers out there. If they can't pay their agent, to represent them, that, well, we'll just find another buyer. And that's why I always keep on saying it's going to be a different ball game once this lawsuit finally sells, because I think it's going to be in July. Big changes to the industry, no matter what other agents are saying. Okay, so that was very good. I think that was a very worthwhile presentation. Well, that's me saying. You might not think so. Well, let's show a little video that kind of like put this in a nutshell, and then I have a little infographic. But let's show the video first. Okay, I thought that was pretty good. All right, and just here's a fast little graphic. Let me make sure I have the right one. So the agent's role in house marketing, just to summarize it, another summary. Pricing strategy, agents analyze market data to price homes competitively. That's, like I said, that's the biggest one. Professional staging, they stage homes to enhance visual appeal and showcase potential. We didn't discuss that earlier. That's another big plus. High quality photography. High resolution photos are crucial for attractive online listings. Targeted advertising, agents advertise on platforms likely to reach potential buyers. Okay, that's a little summary as well. Okay. And as always, that I always bring up, on my blog site, let me get my caption up there. Real estate with Mr. G .blog/resource-materials, you're able to download the Buyer's Guide, the Spring 2024 edition, as well as the Seller's Guide, the Spring 2024 edition. So this will update this month. Probably in about a week or two, I'll have the summer one with the most current information. And again, you're able to download those for free. We're going, I had another piece, and we're going over time a little bit, and I forgot to do an introduction for it, so I might do it anyway. So anyway, I have footage of, I was actually at the Scripps Spelling Bee contest, and I really didn't do too well. But let me just show you a video from that.
Your first word is bruette. Adelantado. Hypercheme.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Mycelium.
Element X, little P, Q, maybe. So I didn't win, okay? And I was a bit of a bad sport. There's a picture of this young man winning, but I was in the background there, being not a good sport. I'm sorry, but congratulations to him. Okay, so that's it. So looks like it's going to be a nice week. We're going to have some showers, but once it gets hotter, we usually have late afternoon showers. So make the best of it. Um, as for now, I'm still doing Mondays. I might, depending, I might switch back to Saturdays. I'll probably do it in the fall, but I might do it sooner. I see, because I kind of like ending the week with the podcast and then starting new, fresh with another topic. So, but right now we'll leave it on Monday. So, be well. I think I did everything that I wanted. Okay. Be well. Take care of each other, and remember, the greatest power we have is to love, and the greatest gift is each other. Thank you.